Thank you very much, Islandstats, for joining in our press conference, our virtual press conference today, the first of its kind. And it just goes along with the BFA having its first ever virtual Congress. And to date, we are the first to have a virtual Congress in the CONCACAF region, so we are quite proud of that. What we would do is really just take you through the Congress itself, and in particular, of course, which is everything that the Bermuda public and players, coaches, and the like want to know, which is how the 2019-2020 season will be brought to a close. But first, I'll just give you a brief summary of the Congress. In the Congress, we advised the Congress of our FIFA Forward application to have the Legends Scholarship, which we have every year, and the FIFA Forward program does allow for us to use FIFA Forward funds to cover that, and we advised the Congress of that. We also advise the Congress of our COVID-19 financial relief package, which we thought was an important step to support our member clubs. We are waiving all registration fees for senior and youth, and we are also providing them with a one-time cash grant. And for the next portion of the Congress, the chairman of competitions, First Vice President, Mr. Shannon Burgess, then took the Congress through our proposals, and then we had some voting to approve the way that we would conclude the season. So at this point, I will hand over to First Vice President Burgess, and we also track through the screen. So you should be seeing our little PowerPoint presentation as well. Sir Burgess.
Sure, thank you, Mr. President. So the first piece of business that relates to the ending or bringing the 2019-20 season to a conclusion was a discussion around the Premier Division. You will recall that in the Premier Division, there was one round left to play. However, mathematically, North Village had already secured the championship, and Boulevard were already relegated to the First Division. And so there was much discussion leading up to the previous press release, which suggested that we will endeavor, if possible, to end the season and play that last round by May 31st. Obviously, that was optimistic, but we had to set a date should circumstances change. So we met with representatives of the presidents, and we gave them an outline of what the final round would look like as far as times and venues if we were given that window to complete that round of matches. As you would know, that is not possible. And so we met amongst the executive and came up with some recommendations, which we presented to the Congress last night. The first recommendation was to confirm North Village as the champions of the Premier Division. And the second recommendation was to enact Clause 2K of the Divisional Rules of Competition, whereby if a match is not played due to the fault of neither team, a score of 0-0 will be recorded, and each team will receive a point. And so that's how the final league standings will crystallize. But then there was the matter of relegation. So to crystallize the league, Somerset Bridge in 9th place would have had the unfortunate experience of being relegated. After discussions and thinking of the makeup of that final relegation place, whereby there were 4 teams in contention, we decided that it's well within the remit of the Executive Council to make a decision that is in the best interest of football. And so we have decided to retain the remaining teams in the Premier Division. And as a result, the 2020-21 season will have 11 teams in the Premier Division, whereby Devonshire Colts and St. George's Cricket Club will be promoted, as they have both secured promotion spots, and Boulevard Community Club will be relegated. At the end of the 2021-20 season, we will promote the top 2 teams from the First Division and relegate the bottom 3 teams from the Premier Division. Shall I move to the First Division? Okay. As you would have known, both Devonshire Colts and St. George's Cricket Club have both secured promotion to the Premier Division. So that was confirmed, but the matter of the championship remained outstanding. We have a unique situation in the First Division in that there's an odd number of teams. And so after numerous discussions, it was determined that for the matter of the championship, applying the regulations as we had in the Premier Division and recording a score of 0-0 and giving all teams 1 point is not really covered in the spirit in which that clause was written, and that all teams have not played an equal amount of matches. So there were many alternatives. Maybe do you erase one of Devonshire Colts' matches where they have already played? It's kind of difficult to do that because they played the match. Do you look at aggregates, average points? There was really no determination that really stood out to be the correct answer. Given that the promotion has been settled, the recommendation to the clubs was to have no champion, in that Devonshire Colts had accumulated 1 more point than St. George's Cricket Club with a superior goal difference. But St. George's Cricket Club had that 1 extra game to play, whereby the result could have been a win, it could have been a draw, it could have been a loss. And so we discussed the matter of no champion. We discussed the matter of co-champion. The executive presented the recommendation of no champion to the Congress. The Congress did not accept that recommendation by a slim margin, slimmest of margins. A counter motion was put to the Congress. A motion was put to the Congress to accept both teams as co-champions. And that motion was passed. And so Devonshire Colts and St. George's Cricket Club will be designated co-champions for the 2019-2020 season. The discussion around this was prolonged, actually, and surprisingly deeper than some of the discussions we've had around the Premier Division outcomes. But at the end of the day, under our Constitution, matters such as these go to the Congress, and the Congress often has the final word in that regard. So congratulations to both teams. Not an ideal situation, but I think both clubs have celebrated in any event months ago because they both returned to the Premier Division after a long absence.
Okay, and we'll just go on to the youth leagues, and once you complete that, any questions you might have on the.
Do you want to touch on the FA Cup first, or?
Do you guys want me to ask questions at the end, or you want me to ask as you go along? How you want?
You can ask at the end.
I'm taking.
Yeah,
okay. All right.
That's Shannon. You're correct. We'll do the FA Cup. So go ahead.
Yeah. So probably this is one of the most just difficult decisions for me personally, and we had a lengthy debate around in the boardroom about the FA Cup final. And personally, as a former player, that perhaps is the highlight of one season, other than perhaps winning the league championship. And so there was a difficult decision to be made in the true spirit in which the FA Cup final is contended. To have that match played at any time other than the end of the season, when players have played for months on end to get to this final space at perhaps peak fitness, to play it at another time would probably be not in the best interest of the competition. So with the decision to end the season, we've made the difficult decision to not play the FA Cup final for the 2019-2020 season. And so that will remain vacant. That was a difficult decision. Obviously, there was much debate, particularly amongst the two clubs that had qualified for the final. We are in uncharted territory. One option was obviously to perhaps play at the beginning of next season, but there are so many factors that doesn't lead to that being an appropriate solution in my mind. And that was the consensus around the executive table, and that was something that has been endorsed by the Congress.
Okay.
And as you also see on your screen, the Congress also endorsed that the Masters season will be voided in its entirety. And the final senior element is that the annual awards will be held just prior to the new season. As soon as we can confirm a date, we'll start to communicate that to the public at large. Just moving on to youth football. Youth football league season was all completed. So with that, Next Generation Onions will be crowned the under-13 division champions. Warwick Archers Bulls will be crowned the under-15 division champions. And Pembroke Hamilton Club will be crowned the under-17 champions. The remaining matches to be played in the youth divisions were for the KO Cup finals for each one of those age groups. And there were several rounds that still needed to be played. So as with the FA Cup, there will be no KO Cup champions for the 2019-20 season. And as you know, normally we do also have end of season meetings and the annual symposium. So what's going to happen this year is that we'll have end of season meetings virtually, and we'll split them up by age group to, as we normally do, review the season, talk about any improvements that we'd like to see, or even the clubs and coaches would like to see. So that is the football season as far as matches and championships and promotions and relegations is concerned. And before we move on to the next last item, we'll ask if there's any questions that you have.
Yeah, at the beginning you were talking about you've waived fees and cash grants. Is that waiving fees, is that for next season or is that for season concluded?
No, that is for the 2020-21 season. So all of the club registration, team registration, cup competition registration, and youth team registrations, those are all being waived. and it is roughly a sum of $54,000 that we are absorbing as cost to the association.
And then you mentioned something about a cash grant. What does that look like?
The cash grant is just a one-time grant to clubs. Some of them will have lost revenue due to not being able to host matches, not being able to have their end of season events that were perhaps revenue earners for them. So the executive council decided to provide them with a cash grant, which at this point I'm not prepared to make the amount public at this time.
When will the league champions of each division be presented with their prize of trophy of sorts?
Well, the idea is that we would do that at the awards in just prior to the new season.
And the notion of the point given. So for Shannon, for your sake, for the first division, no points were given to the teams. However, in the Premier Division, 1 point was given to the teams.
No, 1 point was given to the teams in the first division as well. However, the matter of the championship was not settled under those circumstances, only because Devonshire Colts had completed their last match.
Okay, so the standings will reflect a point for everybody in both divisions with co-champions.
Correct. And so the final standings would show that Devonshire Colts would have finished in first place with a +5 goal difference over St. George's Cricket Club, who would have been even on points. However, because St. George's Cricket Club did not have the chance to actually play that match, it was determined, and I believe rightly so, that it would have been unfair to declare Devonshire Colts the champions of the division.
Mr. President, this will be the first time ever in Bermuda football history since the combination of the BFA and BUA and all the other groups coming together that the FA Cup would not be played. Am I correct?
You're as old as I am, so that I do not know the answer to.
So I definitely don't know.
But
I'll tell you a secret, I looked it up, and it is the first time.
Sure. Yeah, sure. It is the first time, so I'll accept your knowledge. Yeah, I mean, it was certainly a difficult decision to make for the Congress. There's quite a bit of discussion and robust discussion around it. And, I likened it somewhat to there not being a World Cup during World War II. And, these are extreme circumstances. This is new territory for the world. And the pandemic has impacted football like never before. So yes, unfortunately, the Congress decided that there would be no FA Cup champion for 2020.
I know it's still early days, but are the plans for next season already underway to start on time? We know, we're still got a long way to go with this pandemic and how government restrictions are, but for you guys' sake, are you planning as if it's going to start first week of September?
Well, yes, it was part of the impetus to selecting the deadline that we did was to conclude this season and have minimal impact to the new season, and also to allow, if possible, if you recall, we made this that release was in April. We also wanted to show respect to our sister organization to allow cricket to be able to play. As you know, we do have dual sport athletes. So as far as the planning for next season, absolutely. the chairman of competitions will tell you that the schedule starts in March before the season ends. We're working on the next season. So, and we are still targeting the first week in September, which is our normal start to the season. And, we rely on the healthcare professionals. So we'll take stock of where we are around that time. But we will be ready to go.
Shannon, for you, Mr. Chairman of Competitions, now having 11 teams in the Premier Division, it kind of swaps over. Now you need that extra week for the Premier Division as opposed to the First Division, because they now have 10, right?
Yeah, and so it will be a challenge. Scheduling has been a challenge over the last few seasons. We have a pretty solid competitions committee who has been able to manage through the referee crisis, through the lack of night fields, and so we now have another challenge. And we may have to come up with some initiatives that are new and unique. But we will have to be up to the challenge and come up with a solution that's in the best interest of football.
Shannon, I'm glad you mentioned night fields, because during the Congress last year that the media was invited to, I clearly remember hearing that there was some works being put towards getting the association or getting affiliates on board, a number of affiliates on board with lighting for night games. Has this process now been sped up? Because I actually saw a picture of a member of the Pembroke Hamilton Club on their field with their lights on. So has this process been sped up? And that was just this week.
So I haven't seen that picture. That picture excites me from a scheduling perspective, but I would defer to the president, who is closer to the work that we are doing with the clubs that are looking to come online as a night venue.
Well, thank you. But as you know, we did announce some months ago that the Congress had approved funding to assist clubs, Pembroke Hamilton Club and North Village in particular, with floodlighting projects. So that project is underway and ongoing. So some of the pictures that you saw were the contractor that we have engaged to test what's there and survey the lights and survey the ductwork that's in place. And that was done at Pembroke Hamilton Club, and our team, the infrastructure committee, also did the similar work at Bernard's Park and North Village Community Club. So those projects are underway, so the public will see the BFA team and its contractors out and about getting the work done.
Maybe you should forward those pictures on to Mr. Burgess so he can have a smile on his face as well.
He has my email address.
Okay, you can move on now, sir.
The final part of the Congress was exciting in that we revealed to the Congress the strategic plan that we are calling Strategic Plan 2020 Plus, which takes us through the next 4 years, the next 4-year cycle. So we were able to show the Congress a short video and take their initial questions, initial comments, and what we will do is disseminate the strategic plan in soft copy so that they can take it and absorb it in its totality, and then provide any feedback that they wish to provide back to the executive council. But it's very exciting. The executive council took a little over 6 months to put the strategic plan together, review the last 4 years, and and then project what we would like to achieve in the next 4. So.
Anything you want to share with the public at this time?
You're muted, sir.
Okay. Anything you want to share with the public at this time?
Other than it's exciting, it's bold. We will launch that in a big way. My boss is looking at me and making sure that I do not reveal anything at this time.